Hey, one of the most important things that you can develop on your spiritual path is your ability to trust. Today I'm going to share with you one very practical and actually kind of easy way so you can develop trust in your life. Hello and welcome. It's great to have you here. Everything that we do here on this channel is all meant to help you to attract positive results in your life. My name is Max Ryan. I've been doing this work for many years, and I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people around the world to really attract positive results in their personal life, in their financial life, in their romantic life, in their careers. And so if that's something that you are interested in, you're in the right place. And I'd appreciate if you could subscribe or give me a thumbs up if you like what you hear. So before we talk about this very practical way to develop trust in your life, I want to talk just a little bit about this idea of resistance and allowing. And it's really important that we understand on our spiritual path and our metaphysical path and our life path that there's really two ends of the stick here, right? So there's an end that's completely allowing and trustful, and there's an end that's completely doubtful and full of resistance. The more that we move towards this end of the stick, the allowing, trustful side, the more we have flow and peace in our lives. So we have to really get that first off. And being a teacher for so long and everything that I do is stuff that I work on myself, right? That I teach my students. And the more in trust I am, the more things flow. And if they're not flowing, at least I have a foundation of trust to know that everything is working out perfectly on some level. And you might be able to say that in your head and know the meme of that, but do you know it? Do you really trust that everything is working out for your highest good? That's what we want. That's what we want to do in our life. That's what we want to develop. And today we're going to start to develop trust. So why would you want to develop trust? You would want to develop trust because of what I just said. If you want to live a life that's in flow, it's congruent with the truth of who you are. I know that sounds ridiculous in a way, but when you're living congruently in your life, then you tend to be more trustful that God, the source, life, whatever you want to call it, is all working out for your greatest good. Because if we don't trust, we walk around the world suspicious. We walk around the world with fear. We walk around the world thinking, when is the other shoe going to fall or drop? Is that you? And when we walk through the world waiting for the other shoe to drop, or, oh, well, of course that happened. Do you know what I'm talking about? You have that orientation to life where you're like, well, of course things fall apart. Well, of course they're going to do that. That is definitely a victim mentality. And to get a little bit deeper, that's really the ego trying to keep you from your light. That's really the egoic mind doing its job to keep you from being in your flow, being in your light, and being in the palm of God, really, or being aware that you're already in the palm of God. But when you develop trust, you're already there. So today, this is what we're going to talk about. I had to lay that foundation before we started. So, one of the biggest things that you can develop is trust in yourself. Of course, there's trust in others, there's trust in the world, there's trust in God, but today we're going to talk about developing trust in yourself. Okay? All right, so we have to understand that we keep always psychologically redefining who we think we are with our actions, our words, and our deeds, right? So we're redefining it over and over and over with what we say, what we do, and how we present ourselves to the world, and especially how we present ourselves to ourselves, right? So here's the question I have for you. Do you trust yourself? Do you trust yourself? Ask yourself that honestly. Because you have to really work with this question if you trust yourself or not. Sit with that for a moment. Do you trust yourself? And it doesn't matter what your answer is. It really doesn't matter what your answer is. But you have to start asking the questions, right? One of the most important things on our spiritual path of awakening is to ask the right questions. So do you trust yourself? It's fine. But one of the reasons that you might not trust yourself is through habits of yours that have established a self-image that you don't trust. And one of the habits that you might have developed is that you don't follow through with what you say. This is actually really more important than you think. You don't follow through. You're not a do what you say what you do person. Because if we are do what you say what you do people, you know what I'm talking about. If you are one of those people and when you make a commitment, you follow through. When you say you're going to do something, you do something. When you are that kind of person, you develop trust within yourself. If you set up something and you don't follow through, and this becomes a habit in your life, guess what? Trust goes out the window. Because you begin to think you're a liar. You begin to think you're a loser. You begin to think, well, I said I was going to do that diet and I didn't do it. I said I was going to call my friend and I didn't do it. I said and I didn't. I said and I didn't. I said and I didn't. That develops doubt and mistrust in your life. So the obvious answer to all of this is to start to follow through with what you say. When you start to follow through with what you say, you will start to slowly but surely develop a trust in yourself that at least, if anything, if you don't have trust in anything else, at least you have trust in yourself. I've worked with, like I said, hundreds of people. And one of the things that I see is people's self-esteem, you know, that term, self-esteem. They have low self-esteem because they are not do what you say what you do people. They tend to be, I'll say I do this, and then they don't follow through. So, I'm going to ask you a very, very clear question. Are you ready to be a follow-througher? Are you ready to be a do what you do, say what you say what you do person? Because if you're ready to be one of those people that actually follows through with their commitments, this is about commitments, right? If you are going to be one of those people, I guarantee you, if you start practicing following through with what you say and actually accomplish it, your vision, your role of who you think you are is going to begin to change. And you're going to begin to trust yourself, which is going to make it easier to trust the world. Do you see how it works? So, will you start to be a do what you say what you do person? So I hope that today's discussion brought something up for you that made you think a little bit more about how committed you are to yourself. And that will develop trust. I guarantee it. So thank you so much for just hanging out with me, and I know that your time is really valuable. If what we've done already here today or from my other videos have turned you on or it's helped you in any way, then I invite you to click the like button and subscribe, and make sure that you hit the bell to make sure that you're notified of any new videos or when I go live here on YouTube. All right, remember, today could be the best day of your life, and that's the truth.